So recently I asked in a poll what you would like to see from me next, and a couple of you mentioned finances. And actually, where I'm at right now in my life, I thought that'd be a perfect thing to talk about because I want to share a really awesome resource with you. So if finances are something you're interested in talking about, stay tuned. Hey guys, so as I said in the intro, we are going to be talking about finances. I have found a YouTuber that I think I have finally found something that's clicked. But before I get started with that, make sure if you haven't already to subscribe. It is awesome. It helps my channel, and I'd love for you to join our family. So let's just have a come to Jesus moment, shall we? I am terrible at finances. Terrible at finances. I have been terrible at finances ever since I can remember. After college and having babies and deciding to stay home, and so therefore my student loans just sitting there collecting dust, I found Dave Ramsey, and I was like, okay, this is great. And for 2 years, I just soaked Dave Ramsey in. I bought Financial Peace University. I made my husband listen to his things. Ryan had actually found Dave Ramsey way long before I did, but I wasn't in a place to hear it. I was finally there. Ryan's like, that's great, but we have all these student debt. So we had over $1,000 in savings, but we weren't willing to drop our savings down to $1,000. That was really scary. We had all these transitions coming up. Anyway, I was like, oh my gosh, we're never going to get past baby step 2. We're never going to get our debt paid off. We didn't have credit cards. We didn't have a car loan at the time. We were doing the Dave Ramsey like beat our car thing. But I'm like, we're never going to get there. So ultimately, this past year, we took out a car loan. We were just like, I'm sorry, Dave Ramsey, but we needed a car. And we weren't in the position to cash flow a car. We just weren't. Okay, so I want to show you what I found. So I found a YouTube channel, and her name is, I think it's Miko, and she's at the YouTube channel Budget Mom. So of course I'll link her down below. It sounds like she's actually had a blog for years, and her main business is her blog, as well as some of the products that she puts out. But I found her on YouTube because that's my main source of absorbing information. Of course, we all have to live on a budget, right? But the Budget Mom's genius is that she budgets per paycheck. So this is a little bit different. She also uses cash envelopes, which I'm going to talk to you about how I plan on tweaking that a bit. But the thing that she talks about, and I'm going to link her specific talk actually up here that I just listened to, where she literally says, you guys do what is most important to you. And she walks through like an overview of her system. I don't know if you guys are going to read this, and you don't necessarily have to, but this is just a calendar of my bills. So the first thing you have to do is, this is just something I found, like a Googled May calendar. But you go through and mark out the days you get paid. So we're military, so we get paid on the 1st and the 15th. And then I just went through and highlighted all of my bills that are fixed. So that's the way she walks you through it. Is the very first thing you want to do is know what your fixed bills are. So these are, let's see, I'll go through these. These are insurance, any kind of debt payments that you have that are locked in every month. So like your minimums, your phone bill, your car loan if you have one. If you pay for Hulu, Netflix, any of those kinds of services, let's go on here. Your internet. If you have any kind of consistent giving to like your church or any kind of charity, then that would go on here. And then if you have any kind of other services, like if you do Dollar Shave Club or something like that, you get any kind of subscription. All those are going to go on here, and those are considered your fixed income. The second thing she said is before you build a budget, you need to know what you're spending. And this has been a game changer. So does everybody know what a checkbook is? Okay, right, maybe, right, depending on the state age. So we all have these little like ledgers in here, right? And you fill them out. Well, I only fill them out when I write a check, just so I remember what I wrote the check for. And people would say you need to balance your checkbook. I don't know what balancing my checkbook is. I was never taught finance in high school or college. No one taught me how to balance a checkbook. And by the time I was going to college, people used debit cards for everything. And my dad was just like checking his account online. So I'm like, oh, you just check your account online. But there was no like activeness to it. It was all very passive. And that's when you can spend money really easily, is when your money is just passively leaving you. You don't feel it. Dave Ramsey talks about, it doesn't hurt. It hurts to hand someone $100 for groceries or for who knows what, if you hand them your debit or your Target card, whatever, right? But if you hand them the $150 cash, it's like, do I really want to spend $150 cash on this stuff? Like, does this stuff I need, or is this stuff that's going to actually add value to my life over more than like a couple of days? So expense trackers. So the cool thing, and I'm just going to, I don't think there's anything on here that would be like something I can't show you. But do you guys see the color differences here? This is her big deal. This is what she calls like her highlight system. And what you do is you give each general category a color. And that way is a really visual, you can kind of just see, what did I spend my money on? Anyway, so I'll just tell you guys the categories that I came up with for now anyway. So there's food, of course. Ryan has his own category. That's for like when he goes to the shopette or he buys something. He also is the one that pays for if we eat out at all. It comes out of his category. So that's from Jordan Page's, which I tried her envelope system. That did not work for me, but I really do like Jordan Page, and it helped kind of springboard this. But so Ryan does get his own category of money. Then home. So if I buy anything for the house, let's see, all the bills, as well as like the sinking funds that I have, which I'll talk about that in a second. And then I did kind of any kind of holiday or gift giving. I kind of grouped that into one color. Anything that has to do with auto, so gas, but also maintenance. Even though I plan on pulling out maintenance into a sinking fund, which again, I think I'll do a different video on sinking funds, or I'll pin down some down below too. She has a great video on it. Clothing, and then homeschool. So those were, I think, the main categories. But what I want to show you is this is a really big game changer. So I put the first paycheck up here on the starting balance ink line here. And then I started, just like a checkbook, deducting every single amount from it. And you just watch your money go. And it is so eye-opening. Now, the first half of the month, I wasn't doing this. So by the time I started like paying attention, I realized that so many of my big bills were coming out on the first paycheck. And so all of a sudden, after the first paycheck, you guys, I'm negative $707. Like, what an eye-opener. It's like, whoa, I just spent our whole first paycheck plus an additional $700. So that's why budgeting per paycheck is so important, because, you know, going negative didn't hurt me, and I'll explain that in a second, but it was very, very eye-opening and very sobering, because when you budget per month, sometimes, unless you're getting paid all at once, I know, you know, it's so easy to think you have a lot of money in the beginning, and then near the end of the month, you're so strapped, and then you're going negative every month, and that's, at least that's what we were doing. So, and I'm just trying to be really transparent here. I haven't talked to Ryan about sharing numbers yet, so I'm not going to do specific numbers. But I do know that Budget Mom, she does share her real numbers, because that's what's so important. You know, there's so many people who do hypotheticals, like, oh, let's just run through a hypothetical. And that's all nice and good. But reality is so much more convicting and also helpful, right? And then I had to pull out my sinking funds. So sinking funds are money that you take out of your paycheck each month and set aside for known expenses. So right now, the four that I have are, every year Christmas comes up, and I always tell myself I'm going to set aside $50 a month for Christmas, and I'm going to have $500, $600 for Christmas. That is already going to be saved up. And every year I don't do it, because every year we go over budget every month, and I just wipe out whatever savings I tried to do. But not anymore. So I also have bar dues that are due every year, and they're about $600. So I have to pay those. So I don't like to have those pop up in December, January, right around the same time as Christmas. So I'm saving for them separately. I also have a life insurance policy I pay only once a year. So every month I just took that policy, divided it by 12, and every month I set aside that little bit of money necessary so that I don't get hit with a bill in the month it's due. Same with a student loan that I pay every quarter. So I just divided that payment by 3 and set aside this money. So right now, those are the only 4 sinking funds I have. I plan on having more. I have had more in the past, but I got to get a hold of this finance thing first. So now here we are. I think there's like a week and a half left of the month, and I have about $300 left, which I budgeted $150 a week for groceries. Like I said, if we do pizza, usually we do Domino's, and it's $13, and Ryan takes it out of his. But that's still coming out of this $300 because this is it. This is like $300 for everything. So I'm hoping it makes it work. But this has been so sobering because I will be the first to admit that when I decide I want something, I go on Amazon and I get it. Because most of the time I can rationalize it. I'm a homeschool mom, so who am I to not give my kids something that they need that would make their homeschool better? Anytime my kids want like books, oh my gosh, you know, I'm such a nerd for books. Oh, for myself too. The old me would just buy it. But I'm looking at this balance here and I'm like, $300. And I still need to spend, I have $180 left for groceries. And then who knows what else is going to pop up in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. So it's been really sobering. And what's really cool is because I did this and I kept track of this month, we were able to cash flow that car expense that was, it was over $300. So what I want to show you, so what I did finally is that I went through and I came up with our income, and then I came up with all the stuff we've spent so far and the percentage of it against the main income. So food for the month, I'm at $571. And again, I was not doing this the first half of the month, so I think that I'm actually going to start using cash in June for food only. I'm going to start with just food because that is my big expenses that I overboard on. And so this month so far, it's been 18% of my budget was food. Ryan spent about 5% of the budget. The home was negligible. My bills and my envelopes, so the sinking funds and my other bills are just about 33%. And we don't have to pay for our housing here. We actually get a stipend through the Army, and then housing takes the whole stipend. So that's just not part of my budget, but obviously your rent or your mortgage would go into this bills category, and it would probably make that percentage much larger. I have gifts and holidays in here, was about 6%. Our auto was 15% of our income this month because we had that bigger expense for the car. And next month we're actually going to have an even bigger expense because apparently there's an issue that needs to be addressed. So, and then clothing was 11%. That's really, really high. That didn't make me happy at all. We got some shoes and we got some clothes, and it's fine. It doesn't need to be 11% of our budget, that's for sure. And I do want to actually start creating a sinking fund for clothes or a variable expenses category for clothes, either way, so that clothes are more of they're not such a shocker when someone needs something new. And then homeschool was like a 0%, which normally I give myself about $100 a month for homeschool expenses, but again, those fluctuate. So that's just the beginnings of my finance journey. Someone asked me, like, as a Catholic, what are our responsibilities? And I think I would just say that getting a hold of your money, knowing where your money is going, and then seeing if there's ways that you could increase your giving. I'm not going to talk about tithing or anything like that on here. I think it's between you and God. I do agree with Dave Ramsey that we are stewards of our money, that our money is not our own. We need to really address the things that we already have and really see, what it is we can use. Please go check out Budget Mom and what she has to say, because I know that she has changed my life. I was hesitant to make this video so early because I am someone who typically starts something and then a month or two later it falls apart, and then I feel like a hypocrite because I've told you to do something and I'm not doing it any longer. So I was hesitant. But what got me to make this video right now is that I figured if one person who is my subscriber or sees my channel can go over to her channel and it creates an aha moment, or it creates a moment where you finally feel like you're starting to get a handle on your money in a positive way, like, it's worth it. I absolutely love what Drew Mariani talks about, how when we are in financial need, God always comes through. If you are in need right now, if you're having trouble paying your bills, pray the Divine Mercy Chaplet at 3 p.m. today. I'm so serious. Pray along with Relevant Radio. If you are Pacific time, it's going to be 1. If you're Eastern, it's going to be at 4 p.m. And if you're Central, it's at the 3 p.m. hour. But pray that and really trust that Jesus will take care of you. That number is always to love God, know God, to do God's will. I'll talk to you again soon. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. And until next time, have a beautiful day. Bye.